Hello. I don't know if you could tell in my face, but I am beyond tired. I fell asleep standing up today at my house for a little bit. Uh, I have practice late at night with my team, and if I fall asleep now, I'm gonna miss practice because I'm really exhausted. And I got a good night's sleep last night, but I think, I've been writing a few things, processing my experience with the group I've studied since 2017. And let me just say, Proud Boys, you boys can be fairly exhausting. Like, truly exhausting. And I've worked with at-risk youth before. Like, I've worked with children as a literacy specialist, you know, kids dealing with extreme abuse and neglect and, all kinds of behavioral problems. And I can work with them because when I tell them to do something that's good for them, like spend an extra 5 minutes, like just reading and just doing their best for at least 5 more minutes, they may fight it a little, but they do it. When I say, hey, to a Proud Boy, you may not be looking at this from an entirely rational perspective. If you make this claim and there's evidence to contradict your claim, and you consider yourself to be a logical person, then how do you make sense of this new information? And there's something really exhausting about talking to people. I'm not saying every Proud Boy. I've dealt with many self-reflexive Proud Boys, some of which have left the group after realizing it hasn't worked for them. But there's something really, truly exhausting about someone who refuses to admit responsibility in anything they do. I understand, like, if a kid does something and they feel shame and they don't want to admit to their parent or their caregiver that they've done something because it'll make them look bad. Like, I get that. But hopefully they learn early on to not do that. If, you claim to be proud in your assumptions, in your worldview, in your politics, in everything, it comes with the territory to admit when you screwed up or you missed that bit of information before coming to your conclusion. To me, there's no shame in doing that. I do that all the time, and a big part of academia is knowing when you're wrong or misinformed or you need to do more reading. And there's just this really exhausting unwillingness to do any of that, If somebody makes a really, like, outrageous claim and you say, look, I'm willing to entertain that, but do you have any evidence that supports this? And they say something like, oh no, the burden of proof is on you. It's like, do you want to talk, or are you just, like, acting like a teenager? Because I don't want to deal with fucking teenagers. I don't have to deal with kids anymore. So if you're, like, a grown-ass man acting, like, worse than the kids that I've taught in the literacy program that I worked for, like, what are you doing? I'm not saying I know your experience or anything that you've struggled with, But I do know a bullshitter when I see one. And I can't stand bullshit. So just don't bullshit me and don't bullshit yourself. And don't use my threads to try to platform your shit. Because, like, that just to me communicates that you don't stand for anything. I mean, what I stand for under a different administration would be funded by government entities that focus on countering violent extremism. Trump has gutted funding for countering violent extremism researchers. So I rely on independent support to continue the work that I've been doing since the end of 2018. There are certain things that just threaten the core of our democracy that need to be protected against. Like, we need to be able to take a proactive, preventative approach to violent extremism. We can't be in the position we're in now where we're just reacting to every new incident that comes along. And the hope with the incident map is not to slander the Proud Boys, but to communicate what their ideology is by their overt behavior. You can tell the Proud Boys' ideology by the incidents they organize, the incidents they target, and the incidents that they co-attend. I hope that anyone who looks at this resource can begin to see that, and there's starting to be some discussions, like this person who just shared something yesterday about, are the Proud Boys a hate group? And, it was a simple, here's her map, yes. But yes, I would like to move beyond just that, like, yes. And what I'm hoping for with this map is a data-driven rebuttal to claims that the Proud Boys are just a fraternal drinking organization because of the harm they've caused, because of the communities they've threatened. And I say that with the understanding that not all Proud Boys are violent, not all Proud Boys attend rallies. Some really are there for brotherhood, camaraderie, and the feeling like you could be in a safe space to say whatever you want without fears of repercussions. So that's it. As you can tell, I'm tired. If I ever get any peels or chemical treatments in the future to make me look less tired, I swear to God, I am blaming you boys for the exhaustion in my face. I am blaming you for the exhaustion in my body. I have one paid job, which I am grateful for. And I have jobs in the near future where I'll be able to pursue this work full time. But right now, I have one paid job to support 4 unpaid CVE jobs. And the biggest of these jobs is the incident map and dashboard. It takes time to wait for narratives to cool down, to assess the reality of the situation. It takes time to reach out to people who are actually at the event to get a true picture of the story. It takes time to properly classify the incidents, list the organizers, the type of event, and provide more context. It takes time to transfer a web domain from one platform to another, which I finally have done. It takes time and scrutiny and a willingness to understand a situation from both perspectives in order to develop what I hope to be a very comprehensive resource. So, if you're in a position to help, please consider a small contribution, whatever you can do. No one in my field of research does this for money, but we do need your support to continue. And if you're in a position to help, consider making a small donation. I'll link the ways that you can support at the bottom of this video. I appreciate everyone who has sent me emails with details on incidents, I appreciate everyone who has shared my incident map with others. I appreciate the journalists who have interviewed me to understand a group like the Proud Boys more. I appreciate everyone that I work with who is doing this work out of the goodness of their hearts and the hope that people are capable of changing themselves for the better. And I am grateful for the people in this field who believe in my work and providing me with more resources, training, insight. I appreciate all of it, and it doesn't go unnoticed. I just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate the Proud Boys who are willing to tolerate the discomfort involved in talking to someone like me and seeing I'm not the devil, I'm just a person. I'm a curious individual. I'm open to learning. I just don't like being lied to, and I don't want to feel like I'm talking to children. That's all.